Hey guys, Doctor Who here with 1HP, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how to address muscle soreness, especially if you deal with it on a regular basis, and how you can use other methods outside of rest, stretching, and exercising regularly to ensure that you don't feel the soreness but prevent any potential injury that might come along if you keep doing what you're doing. Next, I also answer a question about how to be a little more relaxed with your aim, especially when you're tracking or aiming precisely. Oftentimes people stiffen up, so I want to be able to address that question. Oh, also, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. I stream every few weeks as well as answer questions for our Patreon every month. So if you have any specific question relating to your health, we answer those. But let's get into these questions. We're in tips for preventing chronic muscle soreness, wrist extensors, namely extensor carpi radialis longus, mostly the muscle from returning. Long rest. Never seem to rest or attempt to rehab them enough to get decent practice. Got it. Well, it seems like you actually know what muscles are involved, which is great. But I'm not sure you're understanding maybe how to properly gradually increase your endurance or load. Rest in longer durations will reduce the strength of not only the muscle, the musculotendinous unit, the kinetic chain, as well as the control of that entire chain from the shoulder down to the forearm. So the goal for you is to design a program that will allow you to gradually build up the endurance in those specific muscles, which is great that you have your wrist extension. You want to do it with external pacing. Set a metronome to 20 beats per minute, or you can say 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down. You do the wrist extension. You do radial deviation, always having your forearm supported, so sitting to the side like this, doing that. And then doing some posture related exercises for postural endurance, doing that every morning, probably like 3 sets of 12, 3 sets of 15. That's a good endurance base that we need to build. You use 3 to 5% of your body weight for the dumbbell selection, and then I would even look so you have wrist extension, wrist radial deviation, and then you can get a digiflex to help with some of the muscles along the palm side of your forearm that control movement of the index finger when you're maybe pressing the trigger button, as well on either side if you use that to L cancel or do a lot of wave dashing or shining, whatever. You can do those 3, but you want to do it at that specific cadence, every morning, every night, and then identify how long you're playing. So you can identify your sort of endurance limit. So how long can you play before it gets to a 3 to 4 out of 10 in pain? That's when you want to stop. Reduce it to maybe 75% of that, because you're going to be using your wrist and hand by doing the exercises on a regular basis. Do that over the course of a month. So you want to exercise daily, stretch between games. You reduce some of the gaming in the first week or 2. So let's say you're playing 3 hours of melee, you reduce it to 2 hours, and you're going to be exercising morning and at night with the dumbbell exercises and the digiflex, and then you gradually ramp that up. The second week you can maybe increase it on one of the days to 3 hours and see how you respond the next day. Hey, I felt fine the next day, I didn't have any increase of pain, great, I'm going to maintain it at 3. But if you ever feel like you have some lingering soreness the day after or immediately after your gaming session, then you know that, hey, I might have done too much, so I'll just keep it at that lower volume while I'm building up my muscular endurance. A lot of the times when we rest too much or when we try to do a lot of exercise, we keep the level of our gaming, and that leads to more overload. So there's a lot of nuance and and a lot of listening to your own body to identify, all right, well, can I continue to progress? But the safest way is, hey, maybe gradually increase your game hours of play on a week-to-week basis, but you maintain the level of exercise morning and at night for your wrist and hand on a daily basis. Then you can taper off once you get stronger. Hope that makes sense. So Marco, good question. You stiffen up your entire right arm. Hold on, make sure my camera's on. Do you mean here? If so, then it's very similar to a lot of the questions that I was asked a lot earlier, just about mouse jitter clicking and things like that. But a lot of the times it has to just overall, it has to do with your overall condition of your wrist and hand muscles, but also the movement patterns that you're used to. Oftentimes when we try to aim really precisely and track very precisely, we over contract because we want to have better control of the mouse as we're aiming, and then that changes how when we experience a lot of those tracking and click timing situations in the actual game, it leads to us over contracting. So what we want to do is we want to train out of that by either first you need to have the actual capacity to and motor control to have better control of your forearm muscles, and that's done by doing exercises. A lot of the ones that I have in my YouTube videos, a 9-minute one is a great one. But outside of that, what you need to do is look at using things like DM, using aim bots, and actively trying to repeat or create repetitions of those specific situations. Meaning, I'm going to create tracking situations, I'm going to create click timing situations that you can do in aim bots and DM, and actively try to have relaxed forearm while you're aiming, so that over time your natural movement pattern is to not overutilize it and not stiffen it up. It also makes sure that you have less or more time to fatigue, so that your muscles don't stiffen up as much. Yeah, and even with the biceps area, that's kind of showing that you have some weakness or endurance issues, so you tend to compensate with your bicep. Are you playing with the elbow further back? Because a lot of the times, if your elbow's behind you, you can use your biceps a lot more. Alright guys, that is all. Hope you guys learned a lot about how to address stiffness and soreness with gaming, specific to those type of situations, as well as if you're a CSGO player, Smash player. If you guys have any questions yourself, remember you can always subscribe or support us through Patreon. I'll have the link in the description below. We provide more specific and individualized content. We also have some coaching where you have access to us one time a week to do or address anything related to your physical health. We also help with your nutrition, your mindset, your performance. So check that out as well. And don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. Leave me a message in the comments letting me know what you want to learn about next. And that is all. Adios.